And good evening. Welcome to the Family Edition. My name is Likuyani Eli, and tonight I come to you with so much knowledge, courtesy of Coach Collins Bolo. Good evening, Coach, and how are you doing tonight?
Good evening, Eli. I'm very fine and well, all the way from Mombasa, my
How is
base in
Mombasa
center.
tonight?
Mombasa tonight is a bit quiet and cool. During the day, it was really hot. I think we're just getting to the right season when it is hot, and the beach is the best to swim.
Wow. You guys are
Yeah.
enjoying the beach, but I'm told the marriages are crumbling. And that's why tonight we are talking and discussing matters marriages that don't work. You can follow the conversation on Facebook and YouTube, but tonight the hashtag is different. And I want all of us in our comments to use this hashtag. Inaitwa tumehama. So tumehama is literally translating to we have moved onto YouTube, which is our YouTube channel, The Arts in Heart Official. Remember, if you don't move, you might just miss these interesting topics and discussions that Coach Collins Bolo is bringing us every single Saturday right here on the Family Edition. Coach, marriages that don't
Yes.
work started a few weeks ago, and in this mini series, we've looked at different things. First, we looked at the weddings and why those weddings that are so expensive are not that important. Then we moved on and we decided you guys are married, and then things have started crumbling and they are not going so well. We looked at the first instance, I believe, if I'm not wrong. What was it again? But of course, I remember last week we were here and all of you were making trouble about things that we shouldn't be doing and doing. But tonight we are looking at compatibility. And Coach, I want us first to define the word compatibility. Once you say we are compatible, what is being compatible as a couple?
Thank you, Likuyani. Actually, it's very important for us to have the right definition from the word go, or else we are going to miss it as we move on. Now, after reading and listening to different group of people on how they define compatibility, I decided to narrow it down in context of people who are relating, or relationship, or in marriage. And this is what I came up with. When we talk about compatibility, this is what it means. This is a natural and intentional alignment of lifestyle, values, and choices, despite of the differences we have of our race, our culture, and our career. I will repeat again. Compatibility is the natural and intentional alignment of our lifestyle, our values, and our choices, despite the dynamics of our background, our race, and even our career. Now, there are several keywords: natural and intentional. Very key. That when you're talking about compatibility, it should be as natural as possible. At the same time, it has to be very intentional because of different dynamics. Intentional and natural towards certain kind of alignment, which we'll be addressing today in this program. So when these alignments of lifestyle, values, and choices have become so natural, then we can talk about we are very compatible at this particular point. So it's a process in itself, not just a miracle, it's a process which has to be very intentional, but at the same time, very natural. You don't force it.
You cannot force compatibility, Coach, like you say, but I want us to start from the very basics. Where do you see and realize you guys are compatible or not?
Now, there are different kind of things which can help one to know whether they are compatible or not compatible. But first, by understanding what are some of the dynamics as far as compatibility is concerned, which is very key. For example, there's what we call one-way compatibility, whereby one party or one person feels very compatible as they are relating in marriage, while the other person sees gaps and they're not compatible. These are two people, they're married, they've started living together, maybe several months, several years, but one person feels like, I feel like we are very compatible. I'm very fulfilled and I'm very satisfied. while the other party is feeling like we are not connecting at all. We call it a one-way compatibility. So it's very key when we talk about intentional and natural alignment to lifestyles and also values and choices. If value, choices, and lifestyle is one-sided or it is both-sided.
Yeah.
Very, very key. Very, very key. Other aspects include issues like wounded mates. There are people with wounded mates. They decided to start their relationship. They are in marriage already. However, what attracted them was the common predicament which both of them have. They have a common predicament which both of them had. For example, they were just recently booted. Then, out of the pain of being left by their loved ones, they met together while in pain and started building a new relationship based on I was also in pain. I was left. I was separated. I was divorced. My boyfriend, my girlfriend left me. We call them wounded mates. Now, when these wounded mates come together at this particular point, most of the time their goal is how can I get my healing from this other fellow wounded mate, which brings other dynamics as far as issues of compatibility is concerned. Others dynamics include dysfunctionality when it comes to issues of compatibility, including the following. Like one partner feels like the presence of my partner fulfills me, while on the other side, the other person feels like the more I get closer to you, I feel wounded because of my past experience.
How is that supposed to be a problem? I mean, help me understand this, that the more I get closer to you, I feel wounded from my past experiences in relationships.
Yes.
How does that cut through?
Now, this, sometimes there are some things, very painful experiences we get in life before finding ourselves where we are in marriage. If you don't deal with these baggages before getting to marriage, you will carry them over to your next relationship.
Yeah.
Now, meaning that you have started a relationship together, now you are in marriage. One partner is feeling like your presence adds value to me because your area of strength becomes a cover for the weakness of the other particular individual, or becomes a point of healing to the other partner. However, because one partner is getting it because it's a one way on the other side, this other partner feels, even the more I'm getting closer to you and I want to know you, I want to feel you, what comes back to me is the memory of my past wounds. These are dynamics which we need to understand before we talk about how can I know if I'm compatible. We need to understand, where am I right now? What is my personal experience at this particular point? Do I feel like we are fulfilling each other, or I'm fulfilling my partner, or do I feel like the more close I go, I am scared the worst might be discovered? Let me just keep myself the way I am.
You know, Coach, interesting stuff you're mentioning here, and I want to bring you back to that first one. You say that there are two people who meet each other and they separate. I mean, they are coming from separated relationships, probably divorce or otherwise. And then they decide, because of what we are going through, we are perfect for one another. But we see a lot of those cases.
It happens.
Is it premature? Because there is always the notion that you must move on. Move on.
When you're emotionally wounded, it's important for you to know that you're wounded and you need healing at that point. You don't need to move on to another relationship. We call it rebound. Whereby, because I was wounded, this guy left me. Let me show him. Let me show her. I am still in the market. There are people who are in demand. I'm in demand. Now, in that ignorance of trying to prove you are in demand without healing, you go with your baggage to the next relationship. You might be lucky to get someone, male or female, whom will understand you at the initial point, but the problem is this: am I there to help you in healing and dealing with your baggages, or are we there to support and to build each other? So if the foundation of your relationship was based on wounds which were not healed, it's important to go back for the therapy, for the wounds to be healed, so that you can progress very well. And that's where the challenge is at this particular point. So understanding where you are before you start is very key. If you are wounded, go for healing. So that when you start a person who has been healed, and now its focus is you are more sensitive towards what you're intending to be tomorrow, than being sensitive on the pain and not to be pained again.
I want to particularly dwell on that issue there of divorce, because the other day I believe you are privy to the information of one very would I call them influential? Should I call them? I don't know the right name to use, but a former wife of a governor, and this lady left the relationship, and in a few days later we saw them in another relationship, and for a moment they denied, then the other moment they became open about it. A lot of people have made noise about it, and a lot of people are celebrating their move to come out in the light. Is there any amount of time allowed for breakups and rebounds kind of relationship? Or is this something that you can say probably it's ongoing?
It is most of the time it's advisable, in case of a breakup, take at least 6 months of not getting to any relationship while undergoing therapy towards healing. Because loss and grief, and when we talk about loss and grief due to relationship, it's cumulative. Cumulative, it means if it's not attended to so that it can totally be put in order, you are going to carry. So you can take 1 year, you can take 2 years, you can start behaving and pretending everything is okay, but if the process of healing has not taken place, it's just but a wound which has been covered by the top layer of a skin. It needs to be punctured and you are back to the same state again. That's why such kind of instances are happening. Then another thing, the way women disconnect and men disconnect is so much different. By the time your wife presents to you a disconnection, it's a process which has taken many months, if not many years. And men are not aware about it. It's like we get shocked, like, what? Because the other day she was telling you, I love you. Today she's like, I don't want anything to do with you. So for women, it's a process, it's a long process. It's not like bang, sudden, and they're off in comparison to men. So by the time this person is off from this relationship, jumping to another and becoming public, it was something that started long time ago. It's only the public who are seeing the evidence of a long-term effect at that particular time. And unfortunately, we don't find any process of healing taking place. People are becoming public. It's as if it's fun. We're just giving time. And we'll see the fruit of what has just started after the end of the other one.
Well, hanging out with Coach Collins Bolo in the family edition, coming to you live right here on our YouTube channel, TheArtsinHeart Official. Remember, starting the month of November, this cast will only be available on our YouTube channel. So now, as you engage us in the comment section, I want us to use this hashtag #Tumehama, and then follow with your comments. Remember, that's very important. Hashtag #Tumehama, followed by your comment. Sawa. Let's get to the comments first. For those who came earlier on, we have Boniface, who tells me, if you never heal from what hurt you, then you'll bleed on people who did not cut you.
Ooh. Yes.
That's deep.
That's a profound statement. Yeah,
it is very profound.
Yeah, very profound.
Okay, we have Amos Diambo says, tuned in. Good morning from wherever you are. It's evening here. Thank you so much. And yes, Nakata, Australia. Nancy Morgan says, tuned in. Good evening to you. Karik Derek says, hello to you. And let's continue with the conversation in the comment section. We are asking you to use the hashtag #Tumehama, followed by your comment. Why Tumehama? Because we want to continue bringing you this live stream on our official YouTube channel. That is TheArtsinHeart Official. So get there, subscribe, share, and invite all your friends as we do the conversation. Tonight we are talking about compatibility. Coach has already brought us what is compatibility. We've explained it, and then we've looked at the dynamics that are engaged when you're talking about compatibility. Then you're realizing you equally have to heal before you jump to another one. Don't just jump out of the friend zone and become the other one. Get to go through the process. We want to take a quick break. When we are back, we go to the next level. And for those that love lie, there is a creative, what do we call a creative piece we did for you. And look out, because it will be coming soon on our YouTube channel.
We are all liars to an extent. We all thrive in lies. We take advantage of people through lies. We hurt each other because of lies. We want to grow.
Do you think it's lies, or we're giving hope and then that hope turns out to be like it's a lie, but it's placed hope?
Hata ukiandika CV yako, you lie somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, you're like you're looking for a job, but in the hapo kwa job wana need an experience sijui nini, but you have all the qualifications apart from that one bit. So we're just exposing the lies that are out there. Even the good people are lying. But there's always someone who gets hurt.
So Draka, kama Vini ako broke, how does he afford all these things?
Madeni.
Yeah, stand by for that, because it will be coming immediately after this live cast. Liars, and it's an interesting series ongoing on YouTube by Black Lion Media. The series name is Liars. Coach, we are not talking about liars and lies for now. Let's just talk about compatibility for a moment before we go to the other aspects of life. Before we even go to signs to look out for, there are things that a lot of people say. I do not care about the kind of tribe you come from. I do not care about your background. And this is about the social status of this individual, their financial status. And then another one will tell me, love will surpass everything. Coach, do you think sometimes we overlook such things like religion and background and, you know, the kind of families people come from?
Someone once said love is blind, but another person refuted and said love is not blind, but people are blind. And these are some of the sentiments and statements which shows how blind we are when it comes to real issues about life. And interesting, when you talk about the institution of marriage, it is so real and it requires a lot of knowledge and principle and concept on how we can relate, even more than some of the career issues we are doing. Now, I believe that our backgrounds, as far as what we believe in, our faith, our career, our tribes are very, very key. Because from a definition, it said that it's a natural and intentional alignment. How will you align if it happens that you're overlooking backgrounds on some of these things? For example, in the tribe which I come from, in the past, young ladies were taught, if you want to know that your husband loves you, just intentionally annoy him. If he slaps you, there's no any other extra woman behind the scene. It demonstrates that he loves you. But if you say you're just but a stupid woman, then it means that someone is behind the scene. Mpango wa kando. That was the culture of the past. Now, if you find someone who's been raised with the same type of a concept, and this a wife, she was taught that you have to test your husband to know if he loves you. What does it mean? She expects you to slap her once in a while to demonstrate love language for her. However, if you're not aware about it, or your brother, your sister's been married to such kind of a community, and she gets a slap of love, she'll interpret it as violence, and she's going to run away and get back to her home, while she's been given a code of love. In context to that kind of a thing. Now it becomes important before, what are some of the dynamics of culture and traditions of this group of people as we're intending to marry, so that you don't get cultural shock, whereby you have been given several slaps and you are thinking about relocating and people are wondering what's wrong with you. Your guy just loves you so much and you're running away. And it was so much common in our community when such kind of things were happening. Women were not going back to their home. They knew their men loved them. It's a traditional
Love them.
cultural issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very key. Now, that one brings us to this point that what are some of the signs which we need to know if actually we are going to be compatible, which includes those dynamics. Now, every person who gets into marriage has hope that things will become better tomorrow. Things will rise, our relationship will become better, we get to other levels. Now, I want to pick from the word rise to come up with a concept which can help us so that we can know, by the way, am I on my way to compatibility? So the word rise, R-I-S-E-S, to rise.
Rise,
From, yes, from R, we can come up, how will I know if how can I look for compatibility? How can I develop compatibility at that particular point? From the word R, we are talking about recreation intimacy.
Okay.
How can you develop recreation intimacy? For example, in my home, I'm a Manchester United person. My wife decided to be Arsenal. So when these games are on, we are all supporting our team, but the idea is not about Manchester United and Arsenal, but the idea is about how can we celebrate together in such recreation activities.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you connect on recreation activities well, intentionally, and as far as your values and choices for you to bond together comes in, then you can be happy. I think we are getting somewhere. R-I-S-E-S. There's one remaining, one S. Rises. I'm sorry, rises. So here you talk about recreation, intimacy. You need to develop. Now, marriage, all of us start from one point. We were not born married. So the moment you find yourself in, why don't you develop a recreation intimacy whereby you can move out, you can walk out, you can identify a recreation activity whereby both of you will agree to support each other's interest in excitement within those kind of activities. That's one area whereby you can build. Because sometimes one person, like I've had cases whereby somebody has come for therapy and is like, I'm not happy with my husband. What's up? This guy comes in the house every day late after watching soccer. So I wonder whether the soccer is more important to him than I, the wife. Then I usually ask the question, before you got married, was this guy a soccer fan? Yes. Did he used to go and attend other soccer-related activities? Absolutely, yes. So you are aware that this person loves soccer from the word go? Absolutely. So where is the problem if this guy continues loving what you used to love before? Is it possible the next game you can join him and go and watch soccer together? Or come with a way to watch together in the house? Now, that's a recreation intimacy. And it will just need this slight support on the issues which the wife loves and the issue which the man loves, and people continue bonding very well. Why? Because of the aspect of recreation intimacy. For the word I, we are talking about intellectual intimacy. Intellectual intimacy. The question is, does this person value my intellectual growth? Do we connect intellectually? Now, the catch here includes issues like this. You're a graduate and you're just deciding to go to get married or to marry someone who is a primary school dropout. Does intelligence matter? Absolutely. For compatibility, it matters a lot, because there's some issues whereby you'll be going for a conference because this other individual is not exposed, intelligence level is very down, he or she becomes suspicious. And sometimes it becomes tricky because, like the way today people are out for money, a young man just wants a young lady because she's loaded with money, or a lady wants a man because he's loaded with money, but intellectually out, totally off.
Yeah.
Yes. These are things you cannot be blind to if you want to become compatible. Or else, when like had a case, I was doing counseling this week on one couple who came to our office, and the lady was telling me The biggest problem with my husband is that when I speak English, he thinks I'm speaking against him. The guy cannot get English at all.
Intellectual capacity is a problem.
It's
Let's,
down. It's down.
Coach, we have Maria
Yes.
Pia always. Where Maria Pia? Coach akikuja ukosekanangi, but that's a good sign. That's a good sign for the support.
Yes.
Maria Pia Kagero, thank you so much. Amesema tumehama, and I'm watching. Thank you so much, Maria. We have Anna Mino who says following from Mombasa. A nice topic we have there. Thank you so much. Remember the hashtag is tumehama. And we have James Mwati anasema following Jemo kumbuka tumehama. And we have Agnes Masiga says tuned in. Karibu sana. Lois Ndoya asema tumehama and I'm following. Asante sana Lois. Tuko na Chris Month who says just tuned in. Nakwambia leo tuko na familia hapa. Thank you so much. We have Boniface Witaba who says tumehama. Steady progress with the new show. Lies. Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. It's coming up. It's coming up. It's Liars. Thank you. And we have Anne Wanjiru following. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, Coach, intellectually, you don't meet.
Yes, you don't.
Religiously, it's religion. I don't know if you touched entirely on religion, but
it's coming up. It's coming up.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, we call it spiritual intimacy. It has to be there because sometimes it's really interesting. Like we find couples, the husband attends one church, the other one attends another church, or one attends to the church, another one attends to the mosque, and they totally don't connect. Then they have children who get confused. Should we go to church A or should we go to church B? Either because one party feels to be more spiritual than the other party, and they cannot agree on how they can connect even on their spiritual issues.
Yeah.
It affects their prayers. It affects even the way they interpret the scriptures. Why? Because the source of information they're getting from their spirituality is totally different. A good example, you find these couples. One person believes in holy water, anointing oil. Yes. Or salt. There's this thing they call it holy salt.
Don't get me started the anointing oils.
Yes. Or something like holy soil.
There's another one. Sleeping. I know. Do you know the other one?
Which one?
My spiritual daddy.
Yes.
Others believe in spiritual daddies.
They're probably spiritual daddies, spiritual papas at the same time. And interestingly, find that Pentecostal are becoming Catholics, Catholics are becoming Pentecostal because fathers came from that papa in the past. But now on this other side is on the other extreme, whereby this lady cannot listen to the husband because papa said. They cannot budget because papa said. Actually, it's a kind of an addiction to men who have become like deities in other way, one way or the other. Now, once you mean spiritual intimacy, it means you cannot agree on several spiritual matters as couples. We had a case whereby a preacher preached a very powerful sermon, and the lady felt like I need to give him a car. So she went and she gave the car as a seed, and the husband was not aware. So the husband came home, the car was missing in action, and he started to demand for the car, and he was told, I've given it as a seed to the church. The guy had his kikoi and went to the church in the evening service with his kikoi and told the pastor, give me my car or I'm going to create a scenario. It's because she decided to do something good, but because there's no spiritual intimacy, major decisions are being made in the home, which bring crisis. Very, very key. We are talking about even issues like emotional intimacy. Very key. Am I moving towards being you must be compatible even as far as emotional issues are concerned.
Yeah.
How do you connect emotion? That's what we're talking about issues like if there's emotional disconnection, then it will interfere with many other more aspects. And finally, sexual intimacy. Very key.
Yeah.
Whereby if sex misses in marriage, it becomes an issue. They are seeing in the social media how this guy denied his wife 2 years of sex and the wife had to spank him accordingly. 2 years? Never. Now, building Becoming compatible has to be very intentional, and you have to know areas which, as couples, you have to work on so that you can build your intimacy. No, you can build your compatibility. Those areas are very recreational intimacy, intellectual intimacy, spiritual intimacy, emotional intimacy, and also sexual intimacy. Very key and very important.
Very key and very important for those following us for the first time. This is the family edition and we are here with Coach Collins Bolo. Tunaendelea na story mingi hapa. Anaitwa Ann Wanjiru amesema following. As you follow, give us your comments about this conversation. Are you compatible with your partner? And why do you think you're compatible? There are these things and aspects we've mentioned. We talked with the rices, and I'll ask rices again, Coach, to give it a brief. What are rices? The first one, the R stands for, Coach?
Recreation intimacy, for R.
Yes. Yes. Next.
Then for I, intellectual intimacy.
Great.
S, spiritual intimacy. Then we come to emotional intimacy. And finally, sexual intimacy.
Rises, and those are the 5 aspects we are using tonight to ask you, how well do you feel connected with your partner with those 5 aspects? Remember, the hashtag is Tumehama. Start with the Tumehama and then give us, is it the R for you? Is it the I? Is it the S? Is it the E or the last S? Let's keep the conversation going. And Coach, before we take another quick break, let's just see what's coming up in our every single Sundays. We have the Against All Odds, and here's a look at what happens on Sunday.
No. Nilikwambia mambo ya Webuye. He said I heard that drama people are from Nairobi and Webuye and the other serious towns, not Kimilili. So I decided to give it a try. But that was the first one, I think, from Kimilili, who is serious about drama. The rest were from Webuye, Kitale, Bungoma, serious towns. Kimilili was just a place for circumcision.
And of course, Kimilili is just a place for circumcision. But tomorrow night, we have Reverend Kevin Tindi as we talk together, matters my walk in faith. Be sure to catch that because it's going to be awesome and amazing. Back to you, Coach Collins. We have looked at the rices, but I would love for us to, go a little bit further into this conversation before we come to questions for self-evaluation, because some questions need to be asked so that you can evaluate yourself. There's another form of compatibility which we rarely get to talk about when we are dating, including the need to have children now or in the future. Would you rate it or classify it as a compatibility? Because I don't know.
That one I'll take it as a part needs. Okay, if we take it as compatibility only if it will bring fulfillment, if it's a concern for fulfillment. In this sense, today we have men and women who are very concerned about the issue of getting children. One, the women were scared to get into marriage with a man who will never make them pregnant. And the men were scared of having ladies who will never become pregnant. Both parties. And one of the big concerns is, will I have children? Because children actually demonstrate generation. Because every person wants, by the time after several years, I have my children and my generation and lineage will move on. If it's a concern for fulfillment, then it can become something considerable. However, when people are undergoing premarital counseling, we need to give them probabilities of probably you might get children or not, because of different dynamics in life, which become. Like we have had a case whereby both the man and the woman are fertile, but still they're not becoming pregnant. Well, it's not becoming pregnant. But if they have been checked in the hospital, the man's sperms are okay, the lady is extremely fertile, and nothing happens. We have cases whereby maybe because the lady got married late, she started developing fibroids, which interfere with the growth of the child. So once a child is like 3-4 months, it just gets aborted out. We have cases whereby the guy gets an accident, then he gets an injury in part of the spine, which interferes with the production of the sperms. So because of that, she cannot impregnate his wife. So these dynamics need to be there so that people can understand marriage is still marriage, whether children exist or not. But if it will happen that, if it will happen that you cannot, for one reason or the other, which is scientific, or from a genome's point of view, you can decide still to have children by adoption.
Well, children by adoption, it's not a subject a lot of us in the community talk about, but we have been adopting for quite many years.
Yes.
Coach, another form of concern that I would like for you to address is we rarely discuss matters what sort of genetic disorders one might be having that can create the possibility of you being together or not. Is this also a compatibility issue? And if yes, at what stage of relationship should this be discussed?
Now, because compatibility requires sexuality, and sexuality is done for productivity or procreation, it becomes extremely important before you marry to go for those dynamics. Dynamics include issues like blood group. Might it be possible the kind of blood group we have might have some certain kind of effect when it comes to procreation of our children? Very important. Might it be probably in my DNA? That's why we need people expert in genomes to check. Might it be possible that for my lineage in my DNA, I might give birth to children who are having albinism? If that's okay, how prepared are you for it? Or conditions like sickle cell anemia, whereby sometimes couples are advised from the test which you have taken, high chances the children are going to be sickle cell anemic. Then, do you need to marry and have children or enjoy your marriage without bringing children so that they can suffer with this condition within the short time they're going to have or the long time they're going to have? Not only that, recently I had visited a friend of mine who is a doctor, and it happened that one of his child had this condition. I'm just forgetting the name of that condition. A condition whereby, from back in 1990 to 1992, there's a vaccine which was being given to children in Kenya, and majority of them, not polio, it's a Down syndrome condition. I'm just forgetting the name.
Okay.
I'm just forgetting the name. Try to guess 2, 3, 4.
Okay, you already put me off balance, but probably guys can help us out. I'm thinking. Wait. Mumps or something?
No.
No. Okay.
It's very simple. It has just kicked off my mind. But there's a vaccination which was being given in Kenya, and during that time, most of the children who are born and were vaccinated, they happen to have developed that condition. But probably parents are not aware it was going to come. So the child was born well, a vaccination was taken, then this condition came up to affect the child in one way or the other. I'm still trying to think about it. Once it comes, if my wife is online, maybe she can type it. Then
the nurses that are watching, you can help us out.
Yes.
Between what year and what year?
Yes. Yeah. She
what
knows
years
it.
are those?
Just 90s. 90s to 96. Yes.
Oh, okay. So the 90 nurses and caregivers, kindly help us identify, because my collection cannot bring me that information right now.
Yeah.
But Coach, make your point.
The point is this: medical checkup before getting to marriage is key, because it can give you predictions of several upcoming challenges due to your DNA or the genome's behavior within your system. Very key. Today with genomes, it's very much possible even for someone blood test to be taken, and it can be known if he has cancer cells and exactly at what point these cancer cells are going to be active. Then they can be killed and deactivated before time.
Yeah.
Very important. For example, if it happens that, okay, I can get one nurse here. Okay, she's talking about, I thought she was talking about the
No,
condition.
just proceed. We just want to know
Yes,
who is saying what, but kindly proceed, yes.
Okay. So, very key, because sometimes we are ignorant about these things, then it ends up that as we get children, they suffer because we didn't take the right precautions. Another example, probably one partner is HIV positive, or both of them are HIV positive. What are some of the medications you need to take before the wife becomes expectant, as far as ARVs are concerned, during delivery, after delivery medication, so that this child to be born, someone has got it, autism. That's the thing. Autism. That's what I wanted. Now, we'll get back to that. What can be done so that this child, though we both parents are HIV positive, but our child will be born negative? We don't need to be ignorant about this issue, because some conditions are very painful when children pass through it. And we can be able to trace them even before both parents get married through very scientific methodologies.
Coach, we have talked about the rises and we've talked about, all the nitty-gritty stuff. But then as an individual who doesn't know so much about all these things you've mentioned, is there some specific signs I have to look out for and say, this one and I are on the same group and we are working together, we are compatible, or we are just repelling?
Okay, yeah, there are some signs which can help us to know if we are compatible or not. This includes aspects like, do you feel comfortable being yourself? When both of you are together, do you feel comfortable? Or it's like a tiger just met with a deer. Anytime there can be a fight. Do you feel comfortable when you are being yourself? Very simple question, which you realize when people are courting, comfortability was there. But as time goes on, with different occurrences taking place, can you still sustain that comfortability even against differences? Are not bad. Differences exist so that we can be able to understand each other and continue being together and accommodating one another. Then we can talk about compatibility coming in. Once a person said, for a rubber to be smooth, for a tire to be smooth, the rubber must meet the road. Very key. Crises are healthy because it creates an environment of smooth relationships in our lives. Do you feel comfortable being yourself? Another aspect includes, do you share core values? You have been married for the last 2 years, 3 years, but if you sit down together, do you share common core values as far as life is concerned, as far as money is concerned, as far as beliefs are concerned? These are very important issues. For example, issues of money. Maybe the man believes all the money belongs to me, and I'm the person who have to decide how the money is going to be used. Is that the core value which you share? Or probably you all believe our money, your money, my money is our money. Let's budget from it. For the success of our marriage. Belief system, you have the same core value. One person is worshiping the mountain, another person is worshiping using rosary. Do you have the same core values? Very important. It helps you to know if your compatibility has passed the test. Other aspect includes, do you enjoy time together? Yeah, do you enjoy time together when you're apart? Each one, you decide to go to next to the swimming pool, to go out. Do you enjoy the time, or you feel like, I wish the time can be over and I just relocate and travel to Nairobi, to Mombasa, to up country? You don't feel comfortable. But when you're with others, you feel like, things are good. These are key questions we need to ask to test our compatibility. Signs. Other issues are you committed to each other? Or commitment is one-sided. One party is demanding. Why are you not doing for me ABCD? Why are you doing blah, 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 blah? Each person ought to be comfortable to share his or her concern, because sometimes one party communicates their concern. The other party does not communicate but assumes you are supposed to know.
Wait a minute, coach. Kindly, I need you to really digest that part where you assume it's my duty to know.
Yes.
Kindly take us through that.
One of the common problems which people have when they're relating is assuming one partner is an angel or a deity. That one means you are assuming that by you being together, he or she knows your needs, your feelings, and everything. So, for example, the man is out every time speaking about this is what I feel, this is what I expect, this is what I need, and the lady's like, okay, that's all you need. But why are you not taking care about my concerns? But the question is, are you talking about your concerns? Are you
I've had that discussion in my relationships before, coach, and you know, we are at the point of disagreement because this individual believes it is their right for you to know everything they need you to do.
Yes.
You know, and they do not need to explain themselves, neither they do not need to express themselves. And that's why we talked about unrealistic expectation when we talked about the marriages that don't work. We talked about communication, and now we are talking about compatibility. So guys, you know where we are headed, right? Coach, tuendelee.
Very key, very key. So are you committed to each other? Just your commitment. And as I said before, in marriage, 1% is food and sex. 99% is what you think about your spouse. Very key. Now, many of us get into marriage because we are looking for 1%, not knowing that when you get married, you play the game of sex until you get tired. When 1% is over, what else do you bring on the table? What else do you bring to add to your partner, to your wife, to your husband? Now, that one demands that you have to be committed to each other. Commitment to understand your partner more, to understand the needs of your partner, to understand your limitations. Yes, I know you're expecting me to do ABCD2, but I am limited at this point. I cannot. Understanding your personality dynamics, understanding your background dynamics, all these kind of things. It takes commitment and work. Compatibility requires this process to be done intentionally. And again, finally, do you bring out the best of each other? Do you bring out the best of each other? You found this lady, she just had a certificate. 20 years down the line, she's still a certificate graduate. If not that, what are other things which you have developed in her? If she'll go back to her home, people will say for surely, this is where you took her from, and this is where she is at this particular point. And you know something, Eli? When people are caught and going for these dowry issues, and the uncles and the aunts are there, I tell you, when the girl child is being hyped, sometimes it is too much. It is too much until some of them grow horns. Like our daughter is so educated. Our daughter is so educated. And you have to make sure that the dowry you are paying, it has to compensate the education which you did. And if you ask yourself, how educated is she? It's computer packages. As far as parents are concerned, they don't know what computer packages are all about. They know that our daughter went and studied computer. So for them, they believe
she's an engineer. The daughter is an engineer.
Yes. The same thing happens whereby a son is so elevated so much during this period to intimidate the lady and the family of the lady, but this guy can produce nothing. It affects. Bure. That's why, Bure Kabisa. That's why we need to start from a platform whereby we agree. By the way, what is my role to make my partner become the best she can be, the best he can be? Now that one will help us to get out from the mentality of competition, which was there during courtship and dating, to building and developing each other. Very important for compatibility to become a reality.
Definitely, Coach Collins. And I tell you, Ninaona team YouTube wamekaa huko kidete. Wamesema wamekaa huko kidete. Thank you so much for everybody that is watching us from YouTube. Ninaweza waona hapa the 12 of you. Your heaven is waiting, like on a Wi-Fi code peke yake. Hao wengine nawaona Facebook. Kindly move on, join your friends who are on YouTube. Join. I can see you guys. So move to YouTube kwa sababu the hashtag is tumehama. Silo Michael says, I'm following. Thank you so much for following the conversation. Jane Happiness, tumehama. Hapo kwa compatibility ni shida. Only spiritual. Hey, you still have 4 letters to look out for. Yani hata hii mambo ingine ulisema Mungu alikataa. Na ni mambo ya Mungu. It's all right. We have Betty Sirengo who says, following from Eldoret. Thank you so much, Betty, for coming on board tonight. And Frida Nguku who says, so much wisdom from Coach, so much wisdom. Thank you so much. Earlier on, we looked at Lois who said, could it be autism? And then, yes, of course, the coach has confirmed that is autism.
Yeah, that's autism.
I was in between, lakini nikasema sitaki kujaibisha kwa TV. Wacha nikae antinyita for now. Dennis Munene who says, we really trying to overcome the financial bit. Aki Mungu atusaidie. You know, those compatibility aspects. Pesa kuna iko. Kwa sababu watu wengine waliomoka kuliko wengine. And of course, Frida confirms to us kwamba tumehama. Karo Kenya, mambo vipi? Ninakuona Facebook. Ebu hama haraka huko peke yako. Watu walishahama kitambo. And Chris says, tumehama. Our raise is extremely below threshold. We are managing. We are managing. You know, I heard that word before. When the Kenyan tells you are managing, they're in between. And Aitso says, following from Nairobi. Thank you so much. And
these are my great friends.
They're your friends. Hebu salimia mabeste.
Yeah.
Salimia wote umeona leo.
Yes, there's Anne who is there. We have
Chris.
Happiness who is there.
Yeah.
Another person is let's see those names.
Betty.
Betty Sirengo. She's my mentee. One of my mentee, Betty Sirengo from Eldoret.
Awesome. Anne Wanjiru anakaa pia unamjua huyo Anne Wanjiru.
Yes. Anne Wanjiru.
Na huyu Luis ni nani?
Luis, let me see the spelling.
That's Lois. Unajua huku ina depend na majina. Lakini wewe ni hapa.
If I'm not wrong, maybe we are together in the health sector.
Okay. Luis wetu tuambie ulipatana na wapi lakini otherwise we appreciate all of you. Acha mimi nisalimia hapa rafiki na ndugu mpendwa anaitwa Boniface Witaba, number 1 fan wa TheArtsinHeart YouTube. Yeye yuko 10 million strong. Hata kama ako peke yake he stays. We are grateful to have you tonight in the conversation. And of course, James Mwathi, without forgetting you, sir. Wewe ni ule msee. Thank you so much. Chris, asante sana for coming through. We have Silo, thank you so much. Betty, all the way in Eldoret.
Silo is my cousin, yeah.
Bro, itabidi tuuze kampuni kwa familia. It's all right. Dennis Munene, thank you so much. Unatushikilia kwa Facebook, lakini kumbuka tumehama. That's why you might be wondering, why are you alone? Yeah, guys have moved. So move with them. Changes are happening. And without forgetting, Frida ameconfirm kwamba tumehama. We are only streaming on YouTube starting the month of November. So, Coach, we have another session coming exactly at 9:30, and I would like for us to catch up with it. So as we conclude this conversation tonight, what are takeaways that we need to go with tonight?
Now, there's some key questions which we need to ask ourselves so it can help us as we get to take away for home. 1, do you miss your partner when you are apart for a long time? Very key question. Do you miss your partner when you are apart for a long time? This is a quiz question which you need to actually yes, no on your side to know if you are compatible or something is not working well. 2, do you trust your partner? Very key question to ask yourself because it will contribute towards you becoming compatible. Your partner's behavior and your behavior in the presence of your partner. Do you trust it? 3, do you have compatible lifestyle. Because it's a lifestyle it takes. Do you have a compatible lifestyle? If it's no, you can work on it. What about, can you talk to your partner about anything? There are some things you have to hide. You cannot talk. Compatibility gives each and every individual the confidence to talk freely and openly on different matters and issues. And finally, do you laugh together apart from crying together? These are issues which we need to understand so that we can build our relationship and our compatibility. Compatibility is not likes. Like, do you like rice? I like also rice. Ah, we are compatible. Which is your best favorite color? Which is your best favorite color? Blue is my favorite color. Also, me, blue is my favorite color. It seems you're very compatible.
We're compatible.
Which is your, you know, those are some of the things people confuse likes from compatibility.
Yeah.
It is a process which has to be very, very intentional and also very natural, which is based on alignment of our lifestyle, our values, and our choices, despite the differences of our background, our race, and our career. Let us not misconfuse likes from compatibility. It's like assuming because people like you on Facebook in the days of tribal, the number of likes will contribute for your medical bill. No. Two different worlds of their own. Thank you. Back to you, Eli.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Coach Collins Bolo. And for everyone that is joining us for the first time, I want you to remember Family Edition happens every single Saturday right here on the Arts in Heart official on YouTube. Yes, Tumehama. That's why we have the hashtag Tumehama. Every single week, we have shows for you all the way from Tuesday up to Sunday. And very soon, something loading up for you every Monday so that you have everything covered throughout the week. Remember, Tumehama to YouTube, and the handle is the Arts in Heart official. At exactly 9:30 p.m. Central European Time, which is 10:30 p.m. East African Time, we are having a conversation with the Liars creator. So stay tuned, because immediately after this cast, it goes live. So be there, get a glimpse of what Frida, Xavier Jerry Nato, and of course, one and only Steve Murwa talked about in the conversation. Coach, wambao wanataka kupata haraka sana, 30 seconds, wanakupata wapi?
Uko mwambao, mahali pa kunipata ukiwa Moi Avenue, kabla unaelekea sehemu ya Docks, opposite Toyota Kenya, tuna jumba ambalo linaitwa Lakshmi House, ghorofa ya kwanza. Utaona bango ambalo limeandikwa Amani Counseling and Training Center. Ukifika hapo utanipata. However, nambari yangu ya simu ni 0721605346. Pia unaweza kunipata kwa YouTube channel Rebuilding Family Foundation. Hapo utakuta pia mambo mengine kama haya tunayafanya ambayo yako hapo. Pia utanipata kwa Instagram kama hivi ninapopita hapo mbele, na kwa Facebook pia nimo ndani. Back to you.
Definitely have a great night. That is Coach Collins Bolo, and always a pleasure having you here. Ninaharakisha kwa sababu tuko na show coming right after this. Stay on that channel. See you in a moment.